According to the Washington Office of Public Defense, between 80 and 90% of people who are charged with felonies are labeled indigent by the courts. Yet, the National Center for State Courts cited a study that between 80 and 85% of inmates leave prison in debt due to court-imposed costs, restitution, fines, and fees. And don't forget, 60% of inmates cannot find a job within the first year of release. Many of these individuals have children waiting for their support on the outside, but due to financial burdens, many will find it nearly impossible to do.
6, 7, 8 years ago was the cost of living here in this area that many years ago was $22.09. So right now I think there's living wage legislation that says it's $12, $14, $15. It's not living wages here because it costs more to live here than anywhere else in the state of North Carolina. So therefore, that has to be factored in if you're going to get past federal government subsidizing health care, food, rent, all the different subsidy programs that the federal government offers. Most of these individuals' families would love to be able to do it for themselves. But because they don't earn enough, working every day, sometimes two jobs, they are forced to rely on some of the subsidies that are around. So I leave it to the individual families to answer the question if that's good or bad, or should there be more.
If somebody's going to prison, that's somebody being removed from the home. So that's a source of income that's no longer coming into their home. So now the children are not being provided for as well as they probably could be or should be. So that's an impact it has. And I can't really speak a ton to the psychological impact, but I can just imagine, just think about like visitation. Okay, so you're gonna go see your parent. Now you're looking at them behind the glass, and what's this kid, 3, 4, 5 years old? They don't even understand these things. And then those are memories they're gonna have later. And those are traumatic experiences.
Imagine an 18-wheeler coming at you and you get 5 feet away and you jump out of the way and it barely misses you. These responses that your body has is what kids who deal with trauma have daily and not know what it's coming from, not knowing how to stop it, not knowing how to, so just, and then you look at, again, we go back to where they live and how they grow up and all this matters. So when you talk about broken homes, I think that's the foundation. And it allows, when you have that cracked foundation, then you can't build stable, and it creates a whole wave of other things to happen.
Keenan started working in Child Protective Services in 2004 or 2005. His job entailed going in and out of homes and receiving hundreds of calls throughout the year. At this time, he realized there was no positive males in the home. Once his father passed away in 2010, Keenan launched his nonprofit, My Daddy Taught Me That. He is now that positive role model for 50 young men, meeting twice a week, providing food, planning events, making sure the boys are doing well in school, helping them learn new skills, and finding jobs. Since then, the nonprofit My Sister Taught Me That has been established, working with over 100 young women.
Because I'm hands-on, I would have never seen it from afar. So I see the struggles, I see the pain, and I'm not that old. I'm not that old at all. But what I will say for those who are looking at this video and those who are in the world, our kids and our youth are dealing with issues and things that we've never had to deal with, even at my age. Like I said, I'm not an old man at all. I'm fairly young and healthy and good and all that stuff. But it is, had I had to deal with the problems that our youth are dealing with now, I don't know if I'll be in front of you guys talking right now. It'll probably, well, I had good parents. I had a good mom and good dad, and I had a good foundation and a good upbringing. So I still believe in Christ. So I still believe that I would be here. But at the same time, it is a totally different world, and the things that our kids are exposed to or dealing with, have to wade through and fight through and struggle to get through it's a lot. So I commend all of our youth out there just for making it. It's tough. And there's a 3rd grader right now in Buckham County who's dealing with Department of Juvenile Justice. That's insane. But this is starting those check the boxes so it's starting a profile for this kid. So where it's gonna follow him, and then hopefully if he makes it, but if not, as he goes, you know, and then pretty soon these things will start to turn into felonies, and you know, and it's like, so this kid, before he even gets to the 11th, 12th grade, it could be viewed as a full-fledged criminal, you know.
1 in 3 black men will go to prison in their lifetime. So typically, they probably go have some children. So those children are being affected and impacted by that. And then once a child has a parent who goes to prison, that's just a greater chance that they might go to prison. So if you look at that, I mean, that's crazy right there. That it's looking like we just setting people up to keep going to prison.
I think 2006, I experienced for the first time what I heard about, which was 3 generations of family in the prison at the same time. It was the grandfather, the father, and the grandson, all serving time at the same prison at the same time. And that happens more than we'd like to acknowledge and admit to, but this is a generational cycle that has progressed to the point where more and more young kids, young men, young females are growing up without that positive role model aspect in their life. So it definitely plays a part in all of this.
2.3 million Americans are currently incarcerated, leaving 2.7 million children with an incarcerated parent, damaging their financial and emotional security. Robert Simmons is the director of Father to Father Empowerment. He also volunteers for Nurturing Fathers, where he teaches parenting classes at Craggy Correctional Center.
You empower families, you empower communities. When you empower communities, unintended consequences happen from that. And a lot of these communities who are empowered now, the crime rate has went down. But when you look at how the system is constructed, it has worked magnificently in terms of people being caught in that revolving door of committing a crime, getting caught, going to court, getting sentenced, and that whole cycle starting all over again. Because a lot of people are under the mistaken belief that they understand what rehabilitation is. Webster's dictionary says rehabilitation is to return to the former state, which means that whoever you were before being incarcerated, that's who you're striving to return to be. And that person who you were before brought you to prison. So therefore, how do you interrupt that cycle of the revolving door, recidivism? It's cleverly disguised, and I can speak to this because I've been around the prison system up close and personal since 2002. So I've seen the good, the bad, and sometimes what's called the ugly.